Hello, everyone. It is time for another live. I am feeling right and bright this morning, as you can see from my outfit. I'm starting to channel summer. What have you guys been up to? What have you been doing since Tuesday? What has your week looked like? I'm so excited for this because I know you guys sent in a lot of questions that you wanted to ask. Oh, there she is. I'm looking for Freddie. There she is. By a twin sister, Frederika, and I hope that she can answer as soon as possible so we can get.
Hi!
Hi!
Oh my God, I love your outfit today.
Thank you. Thank you. So I get so excited when people pop into my screen because I'm like, oh, yeah. At first, it used to be such a struggle. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Trying to keep myself busy besides having a lot of time that I'm
Yeah,
not used to because,
I
I'm
know.
sure your schedule's still pretty hectic right now being Miss Universe, but I
Um,
just finished a busy reign and then now all of a sudden it's like, nothing.
I know, right?
Yeah,
And it's so crazy that literally straight after your reign, this starts happening, and it's like you're so used to being
I
busy and now
know.
you're just in one place. The
I
last
know.
time, the last time I saw you, I was saying goodbye to you in a car. We were at a mall and it was so packed. I remember it was so hot
Mhm.
and everybody was just so excited to see you. They had so much love for you. What has that love meant to you throughout this whole journey from your country?
It's been amazing. And think, I definitely felt it throughout my journey, but the most significant memory is probably when I was at Miss Universe, like competing for my country. It was amazing to see the amount of support I got from my country, not just like from pageant lovers, people who are interested in pageants, but from, the whole Indonesian community because they understood that, this girl, she's bringing Indonesia's name
Yeah.
through an international platform. So when they saw that, I guess they tried to sort of support me in many ways that they could, and that meant a lot to me, especially on the final night. And then coming home, seeing all the reaction videos when Indonesia made top 10, like for
Yeah.
the first
For the
time,
first time.
it was. I know. I
And
cried
you,
seeing everyone's reaction.
right, being the young, you were one of the youngest contestants in our year. Am I correct in saying you were one of the youngest contestants who ever competed for Indonesia as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, how incredible is that? Has it always
I
been
know.
like your dream to be a Putri, or is it something that sparked your interest like later on in life, maybe?
I guess being a girl, like when I was really young, I guess that because Indonesia pageants are really big. So every time I would visit, I grew up in Australia. So every time I visited Indonesia to see my family here, I'd always hear about the pageants. And, I would watch it with my mom and my family. And they would sort of support me and say when I was a young girl, like, oh, this is what you should do when you grow up. You can be because Putri Indonesia translated to English means Princess of Indonesia.
Princess, yeah.
So when a young girl gets told, you could be the
You
princess of
could be a
Indonesia,
princess of
I was like,
Indonesia.
oh my God, that sounds amazing. But yeah, as the years go by, I saw how big the platform meant to so many young girls and how it changed their lives, especially in Indo when, we get given the opportunity to meet the president, we get given the opportunity to meet such influential people in our country. I knew that that was such an opportunity that would open so many doors for me and it would teach me so much at such a young age. So
Oh,
that
absolutely.
definitely
Oh,
drew
okay.
me towards the pageant world. What about you? How did it start for you?
For me, it's always interesting when people ask me, "Did you always know?" Not so much because unlike Indonesia, South Africa is not really that big of a pageant country. So it's not really a dream that you have as a young girl to go into the global stage and represent your country. So it's not something that I really grew up having at the back of my mind. But I think as I grew, I wanted to become a Miss South Africa more than maybe international pageants, because like I said, still we didn't know much about those, but we knew what Miss South Africa was, and the things that those women stood for. And I think I was so attracted to the platform and what these women were bringing into the platform. They had so much passion for the things that they did. You know, they lived a life that was so much bigger than they are. And because I read a lot, I've read about incredible people, and I just wanted to do things like that too with my life. And so that platform, presented itself. But soon, obviously, South Africa became more of a pageant country. I mean, we're still not there yet, and as much as we actually are quite stepping up that ladder, people are starting to wake up to international pageants and understanding what Miss Universe is, especially after Demi won, because then people started to say, okay, well, what is this Miss Universe thing now, you know? And so soon it became a goal as well, because I was like, okay, now there's certainly something else to aspire to, something more. And so I think as I grew up, my curiosity started peaking. I wouldn't say since I was a young girl, no, but How long did you take to prepare yourself? Like mentally,
prepare myself,
physically, emotionally, like when did you start, and how was that process?
I guess I started seriously preparing for my national competition probably a year before the pageant. Like I had it in my mind 2 years prior to it, but I started actually like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. How do I get there? How do I become Miss Indonesia a year before? So that's when I started training at a pageant training place, which is I had a trainer in Indonesia, which taught me how to walk, taught me how to talk and everything. Well, pageant questions, basically. And I guess the biggest preparation that I had to prepare for my national pageant is just how could a young girl enter the competition without being bombarded mentally? Because it's a lot for someone as young as me to go into a pageant, being sort of judged by not just your looks, but everything, what you bring to the table, what you've done in your life. So that was a big jump for me. So I guess the thing that I learned the most was, to let go of my insecurities before entering this pageant, and actually like trying to accept my flaws and really love the person I am, because, being unique and your true self was something that kept me strong throughout both pageants, because I know that a lot of people throughout any journey you come across, they'll try to change you as a person. Miss Indonesia should be, or what they think a Miss Universe should be. So trying to step away from those people and just like listening to yourself and say, these are my positives, these are my strengths, I'm going to use that in this competition, despite what people tell me to change. Forget about that and just focus on what needs to get done. So probably a year. What about you?
I love that when I asked you, how did you train? How did you get yourself there? You didn't speak a lot about your looks. Like you didn't speak a lot about training to walk. You didn't speak a lot about putting together your wardrobe. You spoke a lot about your emotions and your intellect and your mental health. And I feel like those are the most important things if you're coming into the competition. Fashion can be learned. Walking can be learned. But who you are on the inside is all up to you. Your story is all up to you. Your intellect, what you bring to the table, those are things that can never be taught to you by another person. Do you know what I mean? It's you. It's how you were born. It's how you conduct yourself. And those are important aspects in life, and not just the physical things that we think are quite obvious. Because I feel like people like stressing themselves about those things. Am I going to have the most perfect walk? When it comes to the end and people are talking about impactful people in society and in life, nobody is going to talk about how you walked on the Miss Universe stage the best way that you possibly could. It's about your journey as a Miss Universe, as a Puteri. What did you do? It's about what you say when you open your mouth to people. It's about the impact that you leave, in people's hearts. And so I feel like people shouldn't really concern themselves that much. I mean, they should. They should concern themselves about how they look and how they walk, because it's all part of, the competition. But it's not all that is. Because what I usually tell people is it starts at your interview room. That is like the biggest chunk that's where you first win half of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
half of the journey is won through that room when you walk into those judges and you speak to them and they get a sense of who you are, and you give your story and your purpose. That's the first step. Walking in and looking great, it kind of comes second after you've already made a first impression. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think through my training, those were the things that I focused on the most, and I felt like those were my strongest points because I know myself. Nobody can ever tell me who I am. Nobody can ever tell me what I can bring to the table. I know those things. You know, and so I was like, I'm going to go in there and be myself and try to be as impactful as possible. I remember, if you will remember this as well, we had the same supervisor, if you guys don't know. We had the same supervisor, and so Tammy, and so we were always together.
Yeah.
And people were like, why are you guys always together? I'm like, because we live on the same floor and we have the same supervisor, and so we kind of always find ourselves in the same spaces. But one thing that frustrated people when we got there was photos, you know, social media.
Oh my God.
What a girl. Yeah, right? It was so stressful, and people at home would call. Directors would call as well.
I know.
Did you post today?
Designers would call. They'd be like,
you didn't post today. People are not talking about you. You are not making top 10 in the fan pages.
I know.
Nobody cares about like fan pages. Like, focus on yourself. Like, literally all you have to do is shut down all the noise, because all of those things don't matter. You're the one who's competing in the competition, not the people who are commenting, not the people who are making top 10. Do you know that saying? There's a saying, Freddie, that says, don't allow people who are not in the arena to have opinions. They're outside the arena. They don't know what's happening on the inside. So you need to block those people out. And I think that speaks more to than pageantry. It speaks into life in general, like about the things that you want to achieve, about your goals, about your ambitions. Learn to prioritize and know what's important. So I think that's how I prepared for this journey. I was just like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to block out the noise, I'm going to be myself. And I think that was most of my mental preparation. So
I know. And I love how authentic you were during throughout Miss Universe competition, because I guess you were one of the girls that I really got along with, because you know, you were so funny, and we would always have these interesting conversations, and we would always laugh around. I was just like, wow, you know, this girl's not like she's not just focused on, like, you were of course focused on the competition, but it wasn't just about the competition for you. It was about other things, you know, like building relationships, having fun, enjoying the moment. And I feel as though that was some of the things that could get to the other girls, is that they forget to enjoy the moment. But you were one of those girls that really did like stand to herself and just enjoyed every moment of it. And that's why I was so surprised at how amazing you answered all those questions at Miss Universe. As soon as you opened your mouth for the question and answers for top 5, top 3, and everything that you, like, every minute you spoke, I was just like, yes, like behind stage.
You were like, how is this girl who was not taking herself too seriously?
I know. I was blown away. I was like, damn, that's a really good answer.
It's really funny that you say that, because I never took myself seriously the whole time. I didn't walk around like practicing questions in my head and thinking I'm going to win. I was just living, you know, in the moment of the whole competition, making friends with people, just learning about who people are. And so I think it was. We have questions from fans. They want to know, what is the definition of confidence? What would you say, you know, confidence is?
Well, I guess for me personally, I would say that confidence is just not being afraid of what you're about to say, because I feel as though everyone has their own right to their opinions. And confidence really means when you are you believe in what you think, and you're not afraid to tell other people about it. And that's what I really think confidence is about, because I understand confidence can also be linked to physical beauty, but, you know, physical beauty for me, it comes in different lenses, you know. It's not just like one idea. It's not just one idea of beauty. So just being outspoken and not being afraid of failure and what comes to you.
I agree. Confidence is not being afraid of failure, because
Mhm.
failure starts when you give up. That's what failure
Yeah,
is to me. You know, if you try something the first time and you don't make it, when you go back to try again or try something new, that's not a failure. You know, you fail when you decide to throw in the towel and give up on yourself. But yeah, confidence for me is standing for your truth and always believing in the things that you say, believing in your story. That's what confidence really is to me. I always feel like my mom, when we spoke about confidence, she would say, you know, when you lie, people always catch up to your lies. And so when you speak the truth, you must always know that you will be confident, because you know that
yeah,
it's your truth. You know that no one will try to catch you in that lie. And also, for me, confidence has actually come through reading, because it's expanded my knowledge about how I see the world.
true.
It's helped me formulate opinions, about the world. So I think that's where mostly my confidence comes from when I speak, because I'm just like,
Totally.
it's my opinion.
Yeah.
And most of the time when you're offering your opinions, it's never wrong, because it's what you think. If people are asking me about confidence, especially when it comes to pageants, is that when you walk in there, you speak your truth and you answer the questions. They never expect a right or wrong answer. There's no
Yeah.
right or wrong answer when they ask you those questions. It's about what you say, how you say it, and how you stand for it. So I think that's what confidence is to me. Always believing and standing for your truth. But there's so many ways we can define confidence. It's so crazy. Okay, we have a second question. Okay, this one's for me. Zozi's final speech was so beautiful. Any tips on public speaking? Oh, I think it's more or less the same. My tips on public speaking is that research, first of all. You should
Yeah.
always research, because when you are knowledgeable, it's not difficult to speak. I always find that whenever I get nervous to speak, it's because I don't know what the topic is about, or it's because I don't know what I'm talking about. Then I get
Yeah.
nervous. But if I know what I'm talking about, then I will always be confident. My final answer when they ask me those questions, what do we think we should be teaching young girls? Why do I think I should be Miss Universe? Those are things that I believed in 100%, whether or not people in the arena agreed with me. That's what I believed in. And so that's why I was so confident in saying it, because I was knowledgeable about it. So I think that's how we build confidence. We build it by being ourselves, first of all, and practicing confidence in
Yeah.
ourselves. You practice confidence in yourself, and I think from then on you're able to achieve a lot of things. So that's how I achieved my public speaking. Again,
Yeah.
people, you could learn through documentaries. It doesn't even have to be about reading, because other people are like, but I'm not a reader. What some people learn through documentaries, some people learn through music, some people learn through listening to stories. That's how you build your public speaking. Attach it to something that means something to you, and then be confident about it and learn. So yeah, that's what I would say. For you, how, because you're a really good speaker yourself,
Oh,
actually,
thank
for
you.
people that don't know.
I try.
You really are. So how do you get that confidence? How did you become that speaker? Did you get any training for it? Is it something that comes natural?
Honestly, I think it of course it took a lot of practice, and I think the biggest lesson I learned for public speaking is just to throw away your ego. Because when you think about it, when you're on stage and you get nervous, you're not thinking about what you're saying and how it will affect other people, but you're thinking about, what's going up on here, like how do I look, or do I
Yeah.
sound weird when I'm talking, or is my voice okay? Am I not standing straight enough? And there's a bunch of things that you could be thinking about when you're speaking that will make you nervous. And when you throw away that ego and you think about why you're talking right now, like what you want the other person to feel or know after you've done your speech or after you finish talking, I think that's like the biggest tip that I would give another person, is just forget
Absolutely.
about all those thoughts and just focus on how you want the audience to feel.
Yeah, also to listen. Listening is such an important skill, because sometimes I think we always listen to questions to rush to answer. Like, take your time. Don't listen to answer, listen to understand. and then
Mhm.
answer. Because we're always
Yeah.
in a rush in our heads, like, you want to sound perfect. I want to get in the 30 seconds. Listen. Because I feel like if you listen to what people are saying, you're actually able to respond to the best of your abilities. And also, like you said, let go of the ego and what are people going to think of me if I mess up?
Mhm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. And also, people are not trying to catch you out. I always say this. People think that judges are trying to catch you out. She's not smart. I'm going to show her she's not smart. That's not what judges are doing. They're just there to literally have a conversation with you. It's always conversational.
Exactly.
Think about it
Yes.
as a conversation.
Yes. Yes.
That's
That
the
is
best way.
perfect advice. Yeah.
That is the
I
best
always,
way of
yeah, every time I
confidence
do a
and
speech,
yeah. So
sorry.
it's okay. Think about it as a conversation, guys. Don't think about it
Mhm.
as like I'm on the spot. Someone's just asking you your opinion. So what do you think about this and that? What do you think? And
Yeah.
I believe in you guys. I believe that you are incredibly smart young men and women who are able to hold a conversation. That's just all it is. Okay. I have another. Oh, tips for anyone. Tips for anyone competing on the Miss Universe stage.
I guess
I
we
know.
spoke about some tips previously through our preparation
Yeah, I
to
think
Miss
as we've been
Universe.
speaking,
Yeah.
we've been giving a couple of tips,
Yeah.
but I think my biggest tip for anyone entering the competition is to know your story, like know yourself, because it doesn't matter what people ask you, it will
Yes.
always come back to who you are. It will
Yeah.
always come back to the core of who you are and everything that you believe in. So if you know yourself, if you have a purpose and you have a story, doesn't matter what people ask you, it will always come back to who you are. So, I mean, when people speak about authenticity, they're not being ridiculous. They're not being cliche. That's what it is. Like, you are just arriving as your true self. You know your story. You know your thing. Don't go in there blindsided. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't walk in there blindsided. Walk in there knowing who you are to the core. It's so important to know ourselves, because when we are so stable in who we are, we're able to make the right choices.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's my
I
biggest
couldn't
tip.
agree anymore.
Know
Especially
yourself.
during the interview, because, the judges, they're not asking you about off topics. They're not asking you about,
No.
I mean, of course, there'll be some random questions thrown in about world issues or something, but they
It's
mainly
mostly
ask
about
about
you.
you because they want to know, why
Nobody's
is
gonna
this girl
ask you.
joining Miss Universe? They want to know what makes you the next Miss Universe, basically.
Literally, no one's gonna ask you who was the first man to walk on planet Earth. Nobody's gonna ask you who is like the 1000th president of. No, it's about you.
Yeah,
It's about, because
yeah,
it's an interview for a job. I think that's what people
yeah.
think. Miss Universe is a job, and that is an interview, and they want to know if you're the best fit for the organization. And so it's always going to be about you and your opinions of the world. Obviously, you have to keep in mind about current issues that are happening in the world. You have to be knowledgeable about your surroundings, because when you win, you are going to be having these conversations and interviews. People are going to want to know, what do you think of this corona pandemic that's happening? It's something that you have to know. So my advice is always be knowledgeable about world issues. Not all of them, clearly, because you're not a robot, but at least like the big things that are happening during that time, you should know those things, so that when they ask you about your opinions about them, you are able to answer. Again, it's always going to be your opinion about those things, so again, it's about you, and what you can bring to the table. So anyone who's competing, don't be scared. When you walk into that interview room, they want to know about you. Again, it's a conversation. It's a conversation, because you know what, people make a mistake of walking in and just getting into interview mode. Hi, my name is Frederika, and I want to be Miss Universe because A, B, C, and D. Like, that's not, you're not a robot. It's a conversation. So I think that's the biggest tip that I would give. Be yourself and be brave. Yeah, let me see if people have any other questions. Do you have any questions for me, Fred?
I do actually. Some Indonesian fans. I mean, everybody wants to know how Indonesia was for you, the most memorable moment you had in Indonesia, and when you're coming back.
when I'm coming back.
Well, after this coronavirus, of course.
Yes, I can travel now. I loved Indonesia. 2 of the times that I was there, I absolutely loved it, and it was both for different reasons. You know, the first time that I went there, it was obviously my first contact with the place, and I was like, oh my God, this place is beautiful, you know. And then I started meeting the people. And I think I started meeting more people when I came the second time around. So my first impression was, this is a beautiful place, beautiful scenery. It's like picture perfect is what it is. But then I think my second step and phase was meeting the people, because what I always say is, people already know Indonesia is beautiful. They've seen it on Google. They've seen it on every photo. But what
Instagram.
you know what I mean? What they might not know is the beauty of its people, and the politeness of the people, and they're so hospitable, you know, because when I went there, I felt so much at home. I felt acceptance and so much love from the people. So I loved it. I loved Indonesia, and I would love to come back again as soon as this ends, and as soon as somebody invites me back.
I'll invite you.
Thanks.
We'll have a Bali girls trip.
Of course. Bali girls trip. I love that. Somebody asked how you deal with haters, Freddie. How do you deal with haters? Like people just always constantly being there telling you horrible things.
Yeah, I dealt with a lot of that throughout my career and throughout being Miss Indonesia a lot, definitely. I mean, there was a lot of criticism of me being so young and entering the competition. Me being half Indonesian, of course. And, you know, language skills and my Bahasa skills, because I did speak with a foreign accent. And yeah, there were people judging me what makes this girl think that she could be Miss Indonesia. So I had to deal with a lot of criticism at the very beginning of my pageant career. And I think one of the things that really stopped me from letting those haters get into my mind was just understanding that these haters have never met you in person. They don't know anything about you, and they only know what you show on social media, and it's such a small amount. I mean, being public figures, of course, like we always get judged on what we show on social media. If one thing we do that's bad, we post it on social media and everyone judges it. I guess that, you know, people would think that we're horrible people if everything that we did wrong was published on social media. And I guess that's one thing that we have to triumph, is that these haters don't know anything about you. You should just trust yourself. Their judgment does not change anything you do in your life. They won't change anything you do in the future. So just believe the people that you love and accept the love that you have with your closest family and friends, because that is honestly enough. And I would be telling a lie if sometimes the haters didn't bother me. I mean, there were times that they really did affect me, that, you know, comments not just about me, but comments about my family and my mother and my father, like it would definitely affect me and hit me in the deepest way they could. Because, you know, it's normal for a daughter to feel hurt when their mother is being attacked, or for the other way around. Like, how would it make you feel if your mother saw like the negative comments that were spoken about you from people that don't even know you? Like, it does hurt, and a lot of people suffer from it, and you just have to know that you're not alone. And those comments, honestly, they don't change anything with your life, and you just have to stop.
They really don't. I mean, for me, literally everything you've just said, spot on. It's so crazy because, like you said, one, these people don't know you. And sometimes I'm like, if you people would meet these people in person, you would really know that they're such lovely people and how amazing they are, and you wouldn't want to attack them online.
I know.
Because you don't know them. And secondly, I think how I always looked at this from my side is, these are people who were rooting for somebody else. They were rooting for their country. They were rooting for another girl. And so the minute I won, it meant that their person didn't win. And so it's coming from a hurtful place. from them. They're hurt, and maybe this is how they are reacting, and so that's why they're deciding to send all those hateful messages. Again, it has absolutely nothing to do with me and who I am. It's a them problem. It's them not being able to process that they just lost, or their girl that they like just lost, you know. And so that's how they react. And also for me, it's just not about you. People are dealing with so many different things in the world, and sometimes they don't know how to deal with the hurt. And sometimes when you go out and you live your best life and you chase your dreams, people who are afraid to chase their dreams might have some kind of frustration that somebody else is doing what they're not able to do. Do you know what I mean? People have dreams and they're afraid to chase them, and once they see someone who has that courage to do it, they start sending all these hateful messages, because I guess it's a reflection of what they think their life might never be. And so that's how I deal with, you know, hateful messages and hateful comments. I look at them and I'm like, that's okay. If that's how you feel, that's fine. That's got nothing to do with me, and it doesn't affect me, because 90% of people are so supportive of me and my journey. Also, the people that I know, my family and my friends, are there for me. Those are the people that I need in my corner the most, you know. So haters gonna hate, girl. Haters gonna hate. But you know, I was watching this show called The Crown, and The Crown speaks about
I've heard about it.
the Queen of England. Do you know what she says? She says something so powerful. She says, well, I'm not going to say it verbatim, but she says, you might not feel like I deserve to be here. There might be people who might be more qualified at this job than me. There might be people who are more beautiful than me. There might be people who are more smarter than me, but the crown landed on my head. And I said, oh, girl.
Hail to the queen.
Girl. She said it. She said it landed, and there's nothing you can do, because here's the thing. Those people are not God. They cannot decide on your life. So it's not even about pageantry. It's about just your life in general. If you're going through something and you feel like people are not being supportive and people are hating you on social media and like bullying you, those people are not your God. They don't have the final decisions about your life. You ended up where you are because you worked so hard and you belong there. And doesn't matter what they say, they're not going to change it. They get so much hate for you for being Puteri Indonesia, but did that change you being Puteri Indonesia? No, it didn't. It did not. So what I'm saying is, don't be phased. Don't be phased. It's just comments. They're not going to do anything to you. They're going to pass. They're going to pass.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we've been talking a lot about pageantry, and I know you have a life way beyond that. I know that you have something that you're working on, because you are a smart woman. You are a COO of a think tank, which is really focusing on what's happening, the pandemic at the moment. Do you want to tell us about that? I want to find out more.
I would love to. Yes, so I started with my friends. We're starting a think tank in Indonesia for millennials, actually focused on the youth in Indonesia, because we see such a development in Indonesia of youth wanting to contribute to their community, from wanting to get involved in politics or wanting to be more involved in their country's future matters. So I guess that's one of the biggest reasons why we started it, especially during the coronavirus. You know, a lot of people want to help, but they don't know how. And we just wanted a simple platform that could give the youth and students a voice to speak on, to share their opinions, and to work together, because that's one way that we're going to get through this pandemic, is to work together as a community. So we just wanted to give that platform for them. I mean, besides being a think tank and working together with students, actually, Indonesian students who go to university overseas and in Indonesia to provide the research and information, we also have different projects that we provide our following. So, for example, we also have this community program, and it's basically a program where we offer students who want to make have the chance, who want to make their own organization or want to make their own platform. And it's part of like a judging table. So we look at the platform, or we look at the project that they want to start, and if we think it would help the community, we actually fund their project for them in the future. So that's something that we have going on. And besides that, of course, we offer content and reliable information about coronavirus, because I know how scary the news can be for anybody. Like, hearing these things that you don't necessarily know is reliable or not, it could scare anybody. So that's one reason that we also really wanted to start, is a reliable news source about coronavirus that the youth could have easy access to and know that what they're reading is the truth.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so amazing. And how old are you again? Please remind us.
I'm 20.
20, doing all of these things at 20. That is, that's so incredible. And it's just testament to the kind of caliber of women, that come through to these competitions to represent their countries. We stand for so much more. We stand for so much more than people think. It's more than just the surface. It goes in, beyond. It's an intellect thing. It's a heart thing. And so I'm so proud of you. You are doing incredible things, not only for yourself, but for your country. And I think that's fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to take 2 more questions, I think, and then we probably have to depart, which makes me sad.
I know, because it's been a while since we talked as well.
Okay. What is the hardest thing that Freddie has felt during the quarantine? I think that's the question. Or during the quarantine at the MU 2019. Oh, I think this question means, like, what's the hardest thing you had to deal with when we were at Miss Universe, like when we were there that competing week? I think that's what that question means. Like, what's the hardest
thing? Wow, what could be the hardest thing? I guess it's just it would probably have to do with mentally, like keep being yourself and still be able to be yourself whilst being in the competition. Because for me, it was such a big thing to enter a competition with so many beautiful and successful, smart, intelligent ladies. Like, I've never had the experience where I entered a room and there was 89 other contestants, 89 other women that were beyond beyond beautiful in every way, and that was like, whoa, that was just like a complete new experience for me. But that was definitely the biggest thing I had to overcome, is just like not letting myself be insecure of what I'm bringing to the table, and just still, okay, this is me. There might be other girls there that have amazing careers and might be doctors, lawyers, or have done so many things in their lives, but you've done amazing things too in your life. And even though you're young, you have to believe what you bring to the table. You have to know the reason why you're doing this and why you started your pageant journey. So that was definitely the hardest thing.
A challenge. I love that you were honest about that, because it's true. You get there and you meet all these other incredible women, and you're just like, oh my God, should I even be here? Like, do I deserve to be here? Do I belong here? You start getting so much doubts about yourself and who you are and what you stand for. And so I think that is always the biggest challenge, to block out the noise. And sometimes the noise doesn't even come from people, it comes from yourself as well, because I think at times we are our biggest problems, our biggest critics, our biggest everything. And so it is such a mental game. Like, you have to be strong here the whole time and know that it doesn't matter what other people are offering. You also are offering things that are amazing. And it's always so good to remember that there's only one Freddie. There's only one Zozi. Nobody there. That's the one advantage you have over everyone. Nobody is you. You are you. That's one standard thing that sets you apart. And so I think that's what we always have to remember in everything that we do, whether we're going to a job interview, whether we're building relationships and friendships. It's something that we should always remember, that you are special. Literally, when you were made and created, you were made differently to serve a different purpose than anyone else in the world. And so when people start to try and like bring you down and bring that noise in your head, always remember that there's nobody else like you. nobody can do the things that you do ever, ever, you know? So yeah, I think that's an important one. Freddie, I'm so sad because this was like coming to an end, but I want you to say do you have any final words that you want to leave our listeners with? Just any words of love, light, and encouragement, anything.
Yeah, I would tell everyone listening right now is just to be strong. I mean, this is a very hard time for everyone, and everyone is being affected by this pandemic. With anybody, like some more than others, but the only way we're gonna get through this pandemic is just working together as a global community. I mean, try and find simple ways to help those around you, and like to throw away anything that's selfish inside of you and just help others. And there's so many different ways that you can help the community as well. Like it could be simply just promoting an organization that's helping in your community through coronavirus, or it could just be helping your neighbor, you know, or the elderly, people who are getting affected by it the most. So just stay positive. We're gonna get through this quicker if we work together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those beautiful words. I'm so happy that you could join me today. I'm so happy that you can share your knowledge and joy and light on our day. I hope that you keep safe and well, you know, physically, mentally, and emotionally as well. The world needs more people who are doing what you do, so continue doing it. And always remember that there's one Freddie. There will only ever be one, and it doesn't matter what people say to you or about you. You know yourself, you know why you're here in this earth. You're placed for a reason, so always remember that. Thanks, Freddie.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have to talk sometime soon.
Yeah, of course. You have my number. I have your number. Plan that girls trip to Bali at some point.
Stay
I've
safe.
been planning trips with so many people. I'm so scared. I'm like, girl, I have so many plans to go to all these places.
Well, add me to the list then.
Of course you are. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. Bye,
Love
everyone.
you, bye.
Love you too.
Hi guys, thank you so much for joining that chat. That was so refreshing because it's always so nice to see people you begin a journey with, just to see how far they've progressed in life and to see the things that they're doing. I think the most important thing that we should have taken from this chat is that cyberbullying and bullying other people is not something that we should be doing. It's something that we should frown upon. I think one thing I've learned about bullying as well is that it starts from a very young age. It starts in how we nurture young children. And I feel like if we nurture kids in kindness and in love and in teaching them tolerance and a love for themselves, because I feel like the more we love ourselves and who we are, it's so difficult for us to start hating, you know, on other people. So teach your children kindness, teach them love and tolerance, and they will grow up to be amazing people in society who are kinder and nicer and warmer to people. So thank you so much for joining us today. I think we should all just learn to appreciate ourselves more, to love ourselves more, to know that we have so much to offer to the world and that it doesn't matter what other people think about you or where you are. You deserve to be where you are because you worked hard for it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to spread love and light, and remember to share your stories with us on #UniverseUnited. We love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much. Please join me again for another live with another special guest. Bye.